Khabib, train me please. Fighters react to Islam Makhachev's submission of Charles Oliveira at UFC 280. UFC 280 was entertaining. Point blank. It was full of so many spellbinding fights that gained a couple of appraisals from fans alike. One of them in particular was the battle between lightweights Islam Makhachev and of course, Charles Oliveira, with the former putting up a sensational performance forcing Oliveira to submission. Many fighters waxed lyrically during the aftermath, but why exactly? Let's find out. The 155-pound division has got a new top dog, and it's no other than Islam Makhachev. In his championship fight against Oliveira, he made a relatively easy meal out of his opponent, putting up a dominating show that had the UFC world at a standstill. Yes, Charles Oliveira is an admirable fighter, and a lot of people would have expected him to win, or at the very least, make the fight a literal hell for Islam. But however, even he couldn't do much against the powers of Islam, and no, that's not a pun. The main event of UFC 280 capped off a hell of an incredible journey for the people of the UFC Hall of Famer, Khabib Nurmagomedov. You heard that right. Makhachev is a well-known longtime student of Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, and the protégé of Khabib as well. So it's hardly any surprise that he won by submission at the 3 minute 16 seconds mark of the second round, as of course, Khabib is known to be the submission maestro too. Ironically, the icing on the cake is that Charles Oliveira is also a king of submissions and is even widely regarded to be the very best at it. Poetic, isn't it? After the victory, the more than happy Nurmagomedov jolted Makhachev around the octagon and shoulders, trotting away in joy after seeing his longtime training partner and friend climb through the lightweight division and strike gold by winning the championship. Not only had Islam Makhachev hands down achieved one of his biggest statement wins of MMA career to date, just as earlier implied, but he also did so by putting up a monstrous performance against a titan of an opponent in only the second round, claiming the vacant lightweight championship. He won basically every facet of the fight right off the opening bell. He landed multiple series of quality jabs in the feet of Oliveira and even scored an early takedown too. Oliveira wasn't the type of man to let that slide, though, as the UFC's all-time submission victory leader, he expectedly threatened to snatch the game with some threatening attempts to pin Makhachev by submission, ultimately failing in his quest to do so as he was unable to successfully lock him in a favorable position due to Makhachev's superior positioning thwarting his game plan. In the first round of the match, Islam Makhachev also landed a couple of savage punches that visibly seemed to make Charles Oliveira uncomfortable. A similar scenario also played out in the second round, but this time, he didn't give Oliveira any breathing space or time to recover as he went on a rampage, and in particular, a rattling thunderous strike to skull of Oliveira. After the phenomenal right hand had sent Oliveira back to the canvas, Makhachev followed that up with a rapid arm triangle choke, locking him in and forcing the tap out around barely just 3 minutes into the second round. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, eh Makhachev? Makhachev did what every recent opponent faced by Oliveira was unable to accomplish. Yes, Charles Oliveira had been in a couple of tough matches where he was troubled constantly, but alas, the seasoned fighter was always able to turn things around, perhaps due to his experience and ability to think quickly on his feet, leading him to inevitably snatch up the victory. His ability to outthink and maneuver his opponents had made him feared a fighter in the lightweight division, and when he followed up a title defense against Dustin Poirier after already defeating Michael Chandler by a technical knockout in December 2021, his reputation leaped in bounds. Another perfect example of his ability to turn a game over was in his most recent bout. Oliveira had turned the tables after an early scare against his opponent, Justin Gaethje, putting him down by submission in the process. However, before that particular match, he had lost his title, having missed weight for the fight, leaving the lightweight belt without an outright wearer for the fight with Makhachev. However, in his fight against Islam Makhachev, the onslaught forced Oliveira to throw far fewer strikes than he would have expected, allowing Makhachev to win the first exchanges before eventually ending the match by submission, which is ironically Oliveira's signature move despite being widely regarded as the most dangerous ground fighter in UFC history. When the match was over, Makhachev, in unison with his mentor and coach, the legendary Khabib Nurmagomedov, called out the current champion of the entire featherweight division, Alexander Volkanovski, to the ring to make an open, official challenge to face him and stand a chance to gain his lightweight belt in the process. The suspected venue for the fight in prospect would be in Australia. Interestingly, Alexander Volkanovski, quite confident in his own powers, boldly accepted the challenge before shaking hands with his fellow champion. The sensational career of Makhachev, now 23-1, keeps improving as he won 11 consecutive fights on the bounce, now eclipsing the only career defeat he has faced so far, a technical knockout loss to no other than Adriano Martins far back in 2015. Makhachev's title win probably tasted even sweeter, since he has now proven right Khabib's late father, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, who boldly stated that after his own son retired, Makhachev would go on to become the very best of the best fighters in the entire lightweight division of the sport has to offer. The old saying, another man's favorite meal is the poison to another, perfectly fits into the outcome of the matches. While Makhachev feels over the moon, are probably on the ninth cloud at the very least. There is a sharp contrast in the case of Oliveira, who lost his incredible consecutive 11-match win streak. If he actually did snap up a win, he would have poetically tied with Khabib Nurmagomedov, Makhachev's mentor, and mind you, for the longest ever winning streak in the history of the UFC lightweight division. But oh well, that's out of the window now. Interestingly, Makhachev acknowledged his win to his mentors and even dedicated his belt to Abdulmanap. In his words, many years ago, he told me to train hard, and you're going to be the champion. I always ask God why he gives me more than I ask. I knew this wouldn't be an easy fight. This guy always pushes. There has been much speculation regarding Makhachev's future, but it is safe to assume that everything has already been mapped out. All of the stars seem to lead to him fighting the featherweight champ, Volkanovski, who may just move up to the lightweight. As for Oliveira though, that doesn't leave him in a good position, as he would likely have to win, potentially against Beneil Dariush, to enter the title discussions again. What are your thoughts on Makhachev's recent lightweight division dominance? Also, do you believe he has what it takes to defeat Volkanovski? Share your thoughts.